tuned in to NWCLV.FM. It's the DJ King Cobra. I'm gonna slick straight quick, hit you once and it's over. DJ, that's digital journalist, cause I don't job nothing. You heard me? Today in the mix, I got my round. Jayson Dixon, he brought in a special guest for us, man. Multi-platinum producer, Mr. T. Berry, Mr. BeatSumthin. You heard me? Jay, go ahead.
Hey everybody, what's going on? What's going on, man? I thank you for coming and hanging out with me.
Hey, I appreciate that.
Mr. Berry, man, I know I had you in town. I had to hurry up and get you here because this is just something that I try to do. I try to make connections, make sure everybody here. To my audience, man, if you don't know who I am, I'm Mr. Promoting Till Something Happens Itself. Y'all saw me on this last couple. I was interviewed, luckily, by Mr. Frank, who just wanted me to tell my story. So today I got somebody here. I just want them to tell their story, man. But when y'all hear this story, I want y'all to understand, and we just gonna have a great little conversation. There's no real questions other than I'm gonna let him introduce himself, and then from there we'll start to get more deep into how he got started, what went on, what he's looking to get out of it, and what's plans for his future. So let me just get this started, man. Like, hey T, let's talk about it. Tell them who you are. Tell them what's going on.
Hey man, I'm T. Berry, Mr. B7, Florida boy, Miami, Florida. You know, been in the music industry for a little minute. It's always been like in my family. My mom was a great singer, and my dad was a school teacher. So, you know, when it just came down to music, it was just, you know, it was natural. You know, I played a little ball in high school, walked on in college, and got hurt. And when I came back home, I ran into Uncle Luke, and he was like, yo, I'm working with Trick Daddy, and this, that, and the third. And I was like, all right.
I'll do something.
I figure out how we make it happen, man. And I just wound up working with a bunch of great artists from back home in Miami. Luke Duke, Rick Ross, Trick Daddy, just a bunch of people, man.
Oh, look, Luke Duke, that's my boy, man. He came from Tulsa one time, man. We had a good time.
Yeah, Luke Duke, that's my boy.
Opalaka man?
Yeah, Opalaka man. Luke Duke.
Bro,
Yeah,
he
man.
came through, man. Shout out to Luke Duke.
Yeah.
All right, so another question, man. Just tell. So I know you were a DJ at first. So how was it? How did you become the DJ I know you to be to the producer that you are today? Like a lot of people. The reason I asked that question because a lot of people, they get caught up in just being one-minded. They like, I'm a great DJ, not understanding that the same thing it takes to DJ is basically the same thing it takes for you to produce the music.
Exactly. Well, that's what happened. So our DJ group we had in high school, and it was two DJs, myself and DJ Fingerprints, my good friend Patrick. And Patrick is on the radio back home in Miami, but Patrick was a way better DJ. He was Mr. Scratch. Like, right. You know, I was good, but Patrick had it. And I just knew that musically, I like when we play instrumentals, I get a little piano and play on top of it, and then my boy would be like, man, let's record that, you know? So it just was a natural transition from DJing and, you know, scratching. Because as DJs, DJs are A&Rs, and they have, and then DJs have to be smart and have a musical vocabulary to understand what records sound good coming behind each other.
Let's say that again. Like, they don't understand that. They don't understand what it takes to get into that realm, right? Yeah. To be that good DJ, you got to understand how each track, I call it an assimilation, because each track basically is built off every other track that you come around. Music is not brand new. It's just a different way you put it out.
Exactly. And so the DJ got to know what record gonna sound good behind Wayne's and Millie at 2 o'clock in the morning, you know what I'm saying? Because you don't want to play the wrong record and lose your crowd vibe, you know? So it was a natural transition from DJ to producer. And then I always liked singing. Everybody knew I sang. I used to, you know, me and my boy used to get my homegirl Vicky Plowden was just like, T-Berry, she called me Cheese. Right. Dance for me, Cheese. So, you know, it was just a natural transition to go into the production side, because for me, I just like creating. I sing hooks for people and I've been on stage, but my stage is not where my strengths are. Right. Hey, I like producing and writing.
I heard that because I try to tell people all the time. Sometimes just because you have a talent is not where you meant to put it at. It's other things that it can work for if you pay attention to it. If you know anything about me, you know that about me. Like, I have a lot of talents. I can sing. I could easily win the music business. My whole thing was I like the business behind it. So with that being said, like, how did you transition over? Because being a DJ, you basically you negotiate your own deals. You do that. it's got to be the same once you start producing, but you bring in different aspects to it, right?
Yeah, so with the production side, when I started producing, I had to, it wasn't more so of, you know, like I'm gonna make a beat, but you have to have the forward thing, okay, I'm gonna make a track, and I'll have maybe 6 artists in mind on the direction. I'm gonna go with this track.
Right.
You know, and then it's all about reaching out to the artist. It's all about getting that artist into the studio. And people gotta understand that there's a difference between, I know this is a very touchy subject with people, between beat maker and producer.
Hey, say that again. No, say that louder. Can we please say that for the people in the back? What up, Riz? Can we please say that for the people in the back? There is a difference between a beat maker and a producer.
Yeah.
I've been talking about that so long, but you get beat makers that say, I'm a great producer, because they feel like they sit at home on their computer and they create the beats, and then they feel like, well, I can come record you and do it. It's like, no.
Oh, no, man. Because there's a lot of producers, like myself, who I make the beat, but then I also produce the record. There's a lot of guys who don't make the beat, but are still a great producer. Puffy's one of them, you know? So it's not, people gotta understand that. So when I got my first contract at Slip and Slide Atlantic, my contract stated that my responsibility was to finish and complete a produce master.
Right.
That means that however I get it done, whether I make the beat or whether I call somebody in to play the guitar or I call some background singers in, my job was to produce a master recording.
Yes.
So as a beat maker, if you make the beat and you pass it, if I make the beat and I give it to you, and I be like, all right, here you go, bro. What you figured out something to do with it.
Right.
I didn't produce a record. I made a beat. I might be a composer, but I did not produce a record. I did not produce a master recording.
You have to understand that. And some of the things, like everybody who knows me in my circle, this is my first time going TikTok live, so I appreciate you guys coming out. But I got my man T. Berry in the building if you missed the introduction, but I want to let everybody else out there, we're going live on TikTok if you want to follow us as well. But he's giving some gems here because I didn't understand that. And I told you, you know me, you know when I first got in this business, I just knew people rapped and beats were made.
Yeah.
I didn't understand the back end of it until I started building the studios.
Yeah, exactly.
And in the process of you going from a DJ to a producer and not even stopping at the beat maker part, I commend you on that because that's some of the transition that most of them do.
Yeah, exactly. Well, like we were talking earlier, the beat maker part, the beat makers have a real value in the industry.
Right.
But it's kind of like the guy you come in to play the drums or play the trumpet. He's an intricate part of that particular production, but he's not the producer. Because when the beat maker, when that track is given to me or sold to an artist, the beat maker's job is usually over with. That's it.
Right.
And he's gonna be like, all right, I sold you the beat.
And I talk about that.
Yeah.
A lot of if you ever been to Sound Noise in New York, they have rooms where it's a bunch of beat makers in these small rooms. And at the end of the hallway is the main producer. And all they do is go back and forth down that hallway all day and listen to those beats.
Exactly.
And that's how they pay these beat makers. They say, hey, you created this? I like this. How much you want for it? $1,500?
There you go.
That's sign this paper saying that's all it's done. So in your line of work and everybody you've been created to, you skip past that format, but how did you skip past and open the door to you? I understand. Tell us about the connections, because a part I want to do here is talk about your success, and then a little bit that I want to get into. My format of radio is I'm going to talk about why you're successful first. Let's let them know who you are, who you deal with. But the second part, when we come back or when we go into the second version, we're going to talk about the struggles it took for you to get there.
Oh yeah. For me to make the transition, what I did was I knew I wanted to, whatever that record is that I heard or I liked, I wanted to know how did it get to that point? How did they get the finished product?
Right.
So what I started doing was I booked my own studio time. I go in and watch other engineers and other artists and other cats who produce and play music, go in and see what the process was, because that's the process that you have to learn.
Right.
If you're going to skip having someone make a beat and then you try to take it from there.
Right.
I want to learn how to create the beat, play the piano, program the drums with the drum machine, then take it into the studio, and what's the recording process? There's no one set template or process to recording.
I do know that.
But there's a kind of a beginning standard. You know what I'm saying when
Right.
you're recording. That's just to make sure that you get good vocals, meaning levels. You don't want the levels to be hot and distorted.
And most of those boards are already set on that. I know
exactly,
that from
exactly. Yeah,
we
so
set
they
the
already have
levels,
them,
and you don't have to touch it.
Touch
You
nothing.
just-
You just make sure, like, well, if you get an artist with a big voice, like when I used to record Charlie Boy, Charlie's got a big voice.
Yeah.
I have to turn that gain down on the mic pre just a little
Yeah,
bit. You
but
know what I'm saying?
that's typical adjustments.
Yeah, exactly.
I learned
So-
that from the media.
Yeah,
scene.
exactly.
Yeah.
Same thing in music and video. Yeah, you don't want anything coming in hot. So I learned that process, and what I did was I bought my own equipment, and I'm an advocate of if this is something you want to go into and something you want to do. It's like, say, I want to be a mechanic. I can't borrow people's tools and ratchets and screwdrivers.
Amen.
Go to Harbor Freight and buy you a little small tool set.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? So you have to spend money. If this is something that you want to build and make money from, you're going to have to up some cash. And a lot of people
I hope y'all
understand
hear that, because one of the things that I'm a big advocate about, if you ever see me do business, we own everything that we do. From the stations to the printing to production, and it's not because I want to say I own it. It's because you can't play in the sea with the big fish.
Exactly.
And they got an advantage over you, but you want to be respected the same way.
Exactly.
So like you said, if you're a mechanic and you don't have your own tools, then you're not a mechanic.
Exactly. I can't come to bring my car to you, and you be like, man, you got a pair of pliers in your trunk? No, no, bro, you ain't got no tools? I mean, we find somewhere else to go, man. You know what I'm saying? You can't even take the wheel off, man. Come on, man. So
that's so true, man. And in this business, as you made this transition, what made you going in? So I love the fact that you say you set it and you learn, because I talk about hands-on is always the best education. I don't care what nobody say. You can pay for a degree all day, but some people who come out to be doctors, I wouldn't let them touch me with a 10-foot pole. Right?
real.
But those doctors that actually sat down and not only studied, but also went to other doctors and said, because one of the biggest things, and I'm coming to my question, but I want to make sure my audience understand why we're asking this question. One of the biggest things that I tell, Mo, film producers, hey, I need you to go back to school. Everybody thought I was crazy when I said it, but it's because you had so much hands-on that you didn't understand what you were missing. Now that he's went back, his movies are so much better because now it's that teacher that sat down. So who was the first person that you sat down with, that you watched and observed, and you was like, I got to sit down with him all the time?
Well, I think the first person I sat down with is my boy LB and Rock. They had a studio in Carroll City, and so LB is a celebrity in himself. LB is part of a 80s electro rap funk. This was back when Planet Rock and all was at. So exactly. So LB was part of a group called Freestyle Express.
Okay.
And Freestyle Express was Pretty Tony with Nucleus, Fix It in the Mix. All the records that everybody used to pop, lock, and break dance to back in the 80s.
Man, you up there like
exactly.
Crush Groove all day. Let's go.
So LB's group was real popular. And matter of fact, they still doing funk shows now, the old school hip hop and all that.
One of the biggest selling shows out
in Vegas.
One of the biggest selling shows out today is Dougie Fresh.
Yeah, exactly.
Dougie Fresh makes $1 million on every show, and he sells out every time.
So LB and them, they do the tour with Trinell and the other girl who got the When I Hear Music.
Right.
Because they all produced that. So that was like one of the first studios I went to that they really showed me like because I had my own equipment. I was just trying to
figure out what to do with it.
You gotta remember the internet's in infant stage back in early 2000.
Oh yeah, I know. Trust me.
Google wasn't even born yet. It was just Yahoo.
It was Yahoo all day.
That was it.
And the internet was just AOL.
That's it.
To all you minors out there that don't understand this, AOL. Hey, real talk. I sold the disc. I was the person that called you and said, "Hey, we just want to send you a free disc."
1,000 hours before they hit your credit card.
So you're right. It was nothing.
Hey, that old dial-up modem.
I talk about that because a lot of these engineers don't know how to use the boards that I meet nowadays. They just know what they do on their laptop. And I try to educate them like, you can't be the best at something until you learn the history
and where it came from. So for me, I came up in the industry where we were trying to figure out what's going to happen when we stop selling CDs. This was like the late 90s going into the 2000s when I first started getting into music when I came off from college. So what happened was I got signed in what they call a tweener. You ever get a guy that's too tall to be a point guard, but too short to be a three?
Yes.
He's a tweener. So he's a tweener. Exactly.
Let me raise my hand.
Yeah, he's a
I'm
tweener.
6'2", but it's but did we put him in a what is he playing?
No, do we put him at the 3 or the 2? He's a little too short to play the 2 because this 2 guard is 6'6".
Yep.
So what happened was, this was at the age of CDs are fading out, and we're getting into, everybody remember when we had ringtones?
Yep.
And the only thing you had was ringtones, ringbacks, and downloads.
And voicemail.
That's it, voice. That's all you had. So people didn't know that the term streaming wasn't a term until 2008.
Right.
I was signed to Slip and Slide Atlantic in 2006 when I first started producing Trick Daddy, Rick Ross, and Pliers. So we were still trying to figure out the digital age. So I'm still using analog MPC, keyboards. Pro Tools was out. I had a digital one, but it wasn't something.
It wasn't what it is today.
Nothing.
It was basically
Fruity Loops was out, but nobody was really using it. There's a few cats say, "Oh, I was using Fruity Loops back in the early 2000s."
Yeah.
I'd say probably one of the few people because it wasn't even
most
big back
people
then. Yeah, they didn't even know what it was. So we were trying to make that transition. So for me, I said, you know what? Let me figure out how this thing is gonna work.
Yep.
So I had a great start in the foundation of analog equipment and being able to learn how to record an SSL 9000 or Duality with the big SSL boards.
If you don't know what that is,
Yeah.
you guys understand this. The boards that we're talking about, I have in my studio. Some of you guys probably saw it if you're on live with me right now. But imagine tape, and when artists now be like, "Hey, take this back," and you're able to really delete it and start over. Imagine somebody cutting tape and retaping tape.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, reels, yeah, for real.
It's where the real reels came from.
Exactly.
Y'all talk about it, but like I said, I try to let people know, like, I may not have been in the industry, but understanding the business behind it. So as you started to grow with everything that you were learning, what was the next step from there? Like, where did it take you?
Well, the next step was Trick. Well, what happened was everyone started hearing me around the city. Luke Duke was one of the first cats I produced. Him and Ross. Ross had just left back from Houston as Teflon Don and moved back to Miami, and he signed to E1's not E1, excuse me, Po Boy.
Yeah, Po Boy.
Yeah, Po Boy Entertainment. So he was over there, and then he was also.
I don't think a lot of people remember that.
Exactly. So Ross was.
Because he was in Trick's videos a lot.
Exactly, a lot of them.
Nobody saw him.
People don't remember that him and All About the Benjamins.
Yep.
He had a song called Diamond Girl with Katrina.
Yep. A lot of people
in
don't
the
remember
video.
Yep.
So
a lot of people don't remember that.
I just started recording people around the city. I got a song with Ross, Luke Duke, Brother Marquise from the old 2 Live crew.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of people around the city, and what happened was it started getting around, and Trick Daddy's brother, who was his manager, Chuck, say, "Hey, Trick's getting ready to start this Dunk Rider label. We want to sign you to it." And, you know, a couple of meetings, and before you know it, I'm over there signed to his management company that has the deal with Slip and Slide Atlantic.
Right.
So I'm producing with the Dunk Riders for Trick, but Ross is over there. I'm doing some records with Ross. And then along comes this cat from Fort Myers named Pliers, who was new. Nobody had ever heard of. And I did like 2 songs for him that I produced. And the other one I produced and wrote the hook and sung the hook on. It's called Hustle Out, and it wound up being like a street like classic, yeah. And then that's how the natural administration of me just moving into the game and growing. Because then after that whole situation, because there's also this goes to the downfall side, which we'll talk about later.
We'll talk about that later.
I had to grow and understand, and I tell artists this all the time. Every morning you're gonna wake up with the God-given gift to rap, sing, do whatever, play the piano. It's that's that business. That's what a lot of artists lose it at. This section over here is the business, because this is the music business, and the word business is bigger than the word music.
Music. Hey, so let's talk about that, because that's one of the biggest things that I have a hard time with when I'm dealing with artists, and everybody knows I started push with artists. I started working with major names. I won't say them here, but as we talked and you know me, I work with major names, but I was behind the scenes. I was more of the, hey, let's get this paperwork done. Let's sign this contract. I don't care about handshake deals.
Yeah.
The thing about it is, as you started to grow, when did you realize that, hey, I can't just say okay to you no more? Now I need to understand that this got to be written down, because what you told me isn't what I'm doing.
Yeah. I think for me that was when I signed my first contract. When I realized and start going to like, different business meetings for music, for the music industry, going to different seminars and conferences, not just the DJ mixers and the producer. I was going to where what we call the check writers were going, people who wrote the checks, and understand how complex this business is, because people look at rappers and my parent, when I told my mom and dad I'm gonna be a music producer, but that ain't no real job. They gonna pay you? How you get paid from it? You know what I'm saying? That's the same thing when everybody goes through being a rapper or singer. But you're gonna have a job to fall on. They don't understand that this is the entertainment business, and you can look this up. The entertainment business is one of the few industries that has never really seen red ever when it comes. Yeah. Even in the Great Depression, the entertainment business where people go to release
because everybody finds music as a
exactly,
and we all do it. You get mad, you get upset with your girlfriend, or your girlfriend gets upset with you. Streaming goes, hey, break up with your girlfriend. Hey, watch how much streaming you play.
Hey, look here, a prime example during the pandemic. Pandemic was streaming has not fallen off since the pandemic. I give people these numbers. In 2021, the digital music side of the industry made $29.8 billion. The entertainment industry as a whole, $1.72 trillion.
Because everybody went to watching movies, everybody went to... and you see that, and what you're saying is true, because I talk about how Netflix took off, Hulu took off, other platforms that you probably... Tubi would have never made it without I shout out to Tubi. You do our movies, you do our stuff like that, but I gotta be honest with you. Had it not been a pandemic, Tubi would have never got out the park. Like Peacock, like all these other ones that are coming, because now they've even talked about it. What you just said, they talked about it in the news. They stated that at the end of the day, movies aren't getting the push that independent films are getting. Because now if you say go to a movie theater, people are like, well, I'll wait till it come to Netflix.
For real. And they work out deals where they might do the first 60 days at the theater and then it's going to Netflix. But now you have Netflix, Hulu, and Amazon that have their own multi-billion-dollar production companies. Netflix films and Amazon originals and Hulu originals, these have major artists in it.
So how do you feel music intertwines with, and that leads up to my next question, how do you feel music intertwines with this new streaming age? Because I try to educate artists on stop trying to go after the deals and go after the streaming, go after the commercials, go after the things that are going to constantly play more than somebody clicking a button.
Exactly. Well, what it wound up doing is the music business also had to figure it out. So what I tell artists and what I've done with artists and done for myself, because I still put out records that I produce and write to and sing my own self, not looking to be an artist, but it's just stuff I like to put out just to see how it gravitates with the rest of the buying world. The music side of streaming, at first people didn't understand it, but once you figure it out and you incorporate that with this pop and urban culture, which is huge, you know what I'm saying? We already know that about $800-something million a year is attributed to spending from pop and urban culture. You know what I'm saying? Almost $1 billion a year. And this is the crazy shit. Excuse me. It's crazy stuff. A lot of the stuff that we buy nowadays is not what we buy. We're really just spending money. Because you can't really, I give my daughter $100, I say, show me what you got for $100. She can't show me nothing.
Like I got 2 Big Mac sandwiches and French fries.
And I downloaded the new album on my phone, and then I watched this other movie. I paid for my app.
So let me tell you why I say what I say, because you know, and everybody who knows me, I'm not a. We're on those 2 cameras. I'm just on my live right now. But what I try to tell everybody, I'm actually cutting it off. But what I try to tell everybody is this: understand that. And I'm going to hate to say this, but I got to be as real as I can. That's why my show's called Real Talk. As blacks, as black people, and Black Lives Matters, and support black businesses, and support black people, do you agree that we are just recyclers? We don't have money.
No.
We have what we call recycle money. And the ones that do have money, they don't bring the money back to us.
We don't spend it within where we can where, like you say, people who really have the money, they don't bring it to the Now the people within that little circle might be spending money with each other.
But they don't spend it in the circle where we say, well, Black Lives Matter and come support black businesses.
Yeah.
And I give this example. So club promoters, they know each other.
Yeah.
What they'll do is say, I want to do a club right down the street from where you doing a club. DJs do the same thing. I know this. So I'm going to host this night. I need you to bring your crowd and we're going to eat together. But then tomorrow you're going to call me up and be like, Jay, I need you to bring your crowd to my people and we're going to eat together, right?
Yeah.
But we're not making money. We just look like we are.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. You're right.
We're not winning.
Yep.
So when you in the industry, I gotta presume from a production side, you had to take a stance to say, look, I'm not really eating. You guys are getting the big checks, and you're passing me off this little bit because right now I need it. At what point did you say, hey, I know my value now?
Yeah. After the first album, with the first stuff with Pliers, and I realized, like, as a producer, I mean, I'm no different than an artist.
Right.
I'm signed to a label. I'm signed to turn in a project. So what I started to do was I formulated my own production company.
Okay.
I went out and found my own artists. I found my own structure. My first sync deal was structured by myself.
Oh, that's nice.
To get stuff. So my first sync deal consisted of me getting. There was a show on Bravo called Shaws of Sunset. It's about this Persian family that was selling real estate in L.A. I did music for the first 4 or 5 seasons, and then I did music for Catfish, and then other music supervisors would come and say, hey, I see you did music for this show. I got Love and Hip Hop, Grown Up Hip Hop. So what I did was I started finding out, how do I start creating my own path of revenue?
Right.
Because right now I'm signed to a label, so I'm getting a check. When I produce tracks, I get a check at the end. Once the track is taken and it's approved, they cut me a check.
Right.
Outside of that, wasn't getting any money outside of that.
If you weren't approved.
Exactly. So I had to figure out, what happens when I'm working on an album and they haven't approved those checks, those tracks yet to get a check.
Right.
I need to figure out what's another source of income. So looked into sync revenue. How do I get stuff on film and television? Looked into that. Looked into getting my own artist to put
I hope y'all getting this,
out.
because he's telling you the game.
Put my own music out with my own artist. How do I structure my own distribution deal? So I went to, I started out with everybody else, CD Baby, the whole 9, and then what I did was I had a good friend of mine that knew someone at Universal. I went to Universal with my credentials, and they was like, hey, we'll give you a distribution deal. You can use our platform, use all of the artist services we have. We'll just take 10%. Cool. I make my own decisions. He's like, yeah, we just take the 10-15% is for your distribution, handle your distribution, allowing you to use our platform, use the name, the logo, all that, because that matters in this business. A lot of people say that, man, I could be an independent artist, but you got to look at it like this. Independent artists, you still have to shoulder the marketing, distribution, recording, all that has a cost. So let me partner with someone to where I don't have to figure out, how do I get my song to Europe? How do I get it
Exactly.
You got to partner with somebody, because you don't have that kind of resources or the servers or the internet.
Hey, you're telling the person that talks about it all day.
Exactly.
Like, listen, you could be independent, but I'd rather have somebody like you said. I'd rather have somebody over here that literally says, "Hey, Jay, I told you about IMF."
Yeah, exactly.
We literally had a distribution. Sorry, guys. Literally had. I forgot to cut my ringer off. Literally had a distribution deal to where Sony and Atlantic came in and said, "Hey, we'll give you guys the distribution." And we formed a company that said, "Hey, you want distribution? No, we're not we're not signing you, but we're willing to put your business out. We're willing to handle the marketing. We're willing to help get you booked. We're willing to take on all the services."
Yeah.
So when I figured that out, looking at what everybody I knew in the industry did, it kind of brought me to an idea to where I was telling people who were artists, like, "Hey, build your own record label."
Exactly. And that's where having those relationships, because as an independent record label, you can't do it all. Yeah. And if you try to do it all, that means that at some point in time, one component's not going to get looked at, especially if you're an artist by yourself, and you're trying to say, I'm an independent artist, I do my own recording, my own artwork, my own mixing and mastering, my own distribution, my own videos. Okay, then when do you have time to be a great artist? How do you sharpen the artist part if you're doing all of the other stuff? So what's lacking?
And that comes from the artist when you see him huffing and puffing on the stage.
Exactly.
Bro, you're not working out.
You ain't working out. You
They think these artists just
rehearse show.
They think these artists. It's a reason why Rick Ross only do one show.
Exactly.
And it's the reason why he does a couple of verses and his music playing behind him, because he's not in shape for what the actual being an artist does.
Exactly. So I tell artists, like, man, this is a business. So you have to look at how can you're still independent, but even, I don't care what business, okay, MGM Grand, they're a whole big conglomerate. But guess what? They got Pepsi as a partner.
Right.
Pepsi handles all of their soft drinks. Southern Wines and Glacier handles all of their liquor distribution. Yep. You know what I'm saying? So they strategically put partners together. As an artist, as an independent company, you have to do the same thing. Hey, Jay, I got my thing. I'm an artist. I really want to focus on making sure my music and my lyrics and everything is tight. But I need help marketing. I need help with distribution. I need help with someone on my social media. That's where you have to build those partnerships. And as a producer, I understood that and learned that and say, hey, my independent artist, this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna partner with some people.
So we're going to take a break real quick, guys. Give us a little breather. And when we come back, we're going to get into the dirt of the whole situation. Y'all know I love talking about the dirt because the dirt is what makes the business grow. But, hey, guys, make sure you're tuning in to NWCLB.FM. I got my man, Captain Don DJ on the...
Thank you for being tuned in NWCLB.FM. Remember, that's DJ, digital journalist, because I don't drop nothing. You heard it? We'll be right back. Dig off top.
We just taking a short break.
Yeah.
I like the little transition.
Yeah.
Man, that's some good conversation.
Oh yeah.
But you see what this is what I like. Like, I want real, let's talk about it, because these people, nobody's having these conversations with these people.
Because everybody's got the whole facade of I'm the hottest thing and this, that, and I've been on from day one, you know what I'm saying? Always. Boy, ain't nobody ever been on from day one. Everybody's had their struggle in this industry, boy. I can tell you, boy, look, Rick Ross used to drive around in the po' boy van.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? When he was Teflon Don when he left Suave House. When he got to Miami, he was Rick Ross, and he was driving around in the Teflon van.
Hey, nobody.
I'm gonna tell you, one of the biggest artists in the world, fucking Flo Rida. Flo Rida was helped with promotions and all of that. Po' boy, he wasn't Flo Rida, this super mega rap pop. You know what I'm saying? Star.
It was wherever you can get your foot in.
Exactly, and you built from there. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of these artists think that they can hop out of bed. And all of a sudden, just become the superstar.
But we're in that age, though, right?
Yeah, well, they all want instant gratification.
Everybody, and I'm like, bro, that dude been in the industry for 12 years. Jay-Z was literally 47 when he got signed to Dame Dash. He wasn't young. He's 53 now.
Yeah.
He made moves to where now he's the greatest, but what it is he's not even the greatest. He just did the great business deals that put him at the top of the pattern.
Exactly. No bullshit. Hey, look at, you know how old Quincy Jones was when he got his first big album with Michael Jackson? 50. 50 years old.
When he finally became Quincy
Jones, the mega producer at 50 with Michael Jackson on the Off the Wall project.
Yeah.
So I was having this discussion with another producer friend of mine. I was like, bro, a lot of times you have people that say they want to put an age cap on. There's no age cap on anything.
Nothing.
Now, aside from physical things like playing football and shit like that, but intellectual property stuff, there's no age cap.
I tell people all the time, I'm 47. You know how many times I done got the business going good, something falls off.
Yeah.
Got the business going back, something falls off. I'm in a transition time as we talk, and I'm going to talk about this once we go live again. I'm in a transition right now.
Yeah.
That now I'm in Vegas, and I got to figure this market out.
Yeah.
It ain't like you just because you're a superstar on the East Coast, you can come to the West Coast and be that same superstar.
No.
It don't work like that.
Don't transition like that.
I'm ready. We ready whenever you are, Cap. Because I don't want this to get too much into what I want to do. Hey guys, I'm recording this because I'm having bad signal, so if you're catching this, it's going to be put up in a minute, but I kept losing signal on the live, so after I record it and put it up. Hey, today was a good day though. I like this. Y'all two got to meet, so that way that connection. When you come back, I have a studio so we can walk through it.
Yeah.
And like I said, I'm looking to put you in a place where we can.
Yeah, because I think I
put you in a
moved
place
it.
where we can like
No, you good. I got you.
set the just you got a home.
Yeah.
And you don't have to worry about trying to find where you got a home.
Exactly.
Like, hey, yeah, I can do what you want me to do, but we're gonna do it in my location.
Exactly. And but like I say, that's what most of the artists that when they find them in town.
Man, well, you got a spot yet?
I ain't got it yet. We can go record over here by the airport. But I don't like doing that because I know that's money and relationships that I need to be building for the people in my circle.
Yeah.
I need to be able to call Cap and say, hey, Cap, Ross got a new artist over here I'm producing some tracks for. Come over here and shoot some
Footage. Yeah.
shoot some footage right quick.
And I'm good with that.
Yeah, I'm be there for you. We coming right back. It's NWCLB.FM, DJ King Cobra. You tuned in with multi-platinum producer T. Berry, interviewed by my round, Jayson Dixon. It's going up over here. Tune right back in. Jay, ready?
Hey, we're back. Mr. Promoter to Something Happened. Real talk with Jayson Dixon. Man, I'm so happy for my man letting me use his radio station to get this interview in while we all here. T, now we about to get into something real deep because I tell my story. Everybody knows it. I don't lie about it. I'm a foster kid that grind from the dirt up. I don't mind failing to get to where I need to go to the next level because every level, we all know if you're a professional, it comes with a failure somewhere.
Yes.
Let's just be honest about it. So I'm going to tell part of my story and then we're going to get into yours. Like I said when we were just talking off camera, I'm going through a transition right now. Moving to Vegas has been the toughest 4 years of dealing with new people.
Yeah.
Let's just say that.
Yeah.
New people. And trying to understand the market and understand how they deal and how business is done. Because you are a fool if you think that what you did in Florida, Miami, New York is the same business you can do everywhere. It doesn't work that way. Every business, every state has a different model. Me doing business in 50 states, I'm negotiating new deals every day that I don't like, and some of them are bad or under the table or the people are not.
Yeah.
But it's deals that have to be made, right?
Yeah.
So let's talk about some of your struggles. We heard about all your success, and we give you your flowers on that because I know you, so I know you're doing great things. But I want our people to understand the purpose of my interviews is about the struggle because there's somebody out there that does not understand that with hard work comes issues.
Yes. Oh yeah. That's always, there's a old saying when you're not in the entertainment business until you get in the entertainment business. And when I leave that, you fill in whatever you want to in that blank, and it's usually something that you don't want happening to you. So for me, once again, like I say, for one, it was a struggle coming into the music business at the time where CDs are being faded out and we're all going digital. No one understood it. No one figured this out.
I couldn't tell because people were still in my car with right on Sharpies.
Exactly.
Buy my CD.
Buy my CD. So at this time, people don't know that Spotify wasn't created until 2008.
Yep.
So in between the time I got signed in 2005, 6 to 2008, we were trying to figure it out. And contracts were worded different. Contracts specified CD, cassettes, and any other format that you can attach music to.
Yep.
Didn't have the word digital. Because
At
there
all.
was nothing. Digital was not even.
So whatever they were doing digitally and making money off of it, you didn't get nothing.
You didn't get nothing. So my first two joints with a major artist as right now, Pliers. You know what I'm saying? I've told this story to many people. I did 2 records for him. One is called Noah Ian Redder Than Pliers, and the other one was called Hustle All Day. I produced both tracks. Then on the Hustle All Day, I produced and wrote the hook. So this was a song. These 2 records were supposed to be part of this album. They would have been the single before the Shawty record with T-Pain.
Right.
But when you find out that you're in the industry, there's a lot of industry misunderstandings, a lot of industry beefs, a lot of industry BS that goes on. And at this time, Pliers and Trick's side wasn't seeing eye to eye.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And I'm caught in the middle because I'm signed to Dunk Rider, but I'm also producing for Slip and Slide artists.
Right.
So two of the records that I produced for Pliers, they put out without paying me.
Oh, wow.
And this went on for the last, 12, 15 years of no payment, no publishing, no anything. So what it made me do, I ain't gonna lie to you, my contract still had a year left in it, and I really just shut down. I really didn't. I felt like nobody wanted to help me.
And I
couldn't
can
get no
understand
money. You know, my management was working on Trick Daddy's new deal, so I'm really just, you know, I know Trick's important. He's the big moving part in what we're doing. So I know they had to get that structured, but I'm trying to figure out why I ain't get no money for these songs that is getting played. It's on mixtapes. It's on Pliers. It's performing at clubs. They're calling me to come out to do the hooks.
Yeah.
And I just had to learn the whole industry thing that, you know what?
Read your contracts.
Come on. Read your contract.
Let's just be real. I didn't mean to cut you off, but I'm like, read your contract.
Read your contract, man. And so in my contract, it had some things stipulated about they can use it for promotional. But then when they put it out as being sold for downloads, me not understanding the music business, what I should have done, went to a lawyer and said, hey, I didn't get paid for this. And it's out on Atlantic Records platform. It's being sold on iTunes. It's being downloaded and streamed. I need to put a cease and desist. I need to do this. I need to do that. I need you to represent me to go get my royalty checks. But like I said, again, being new to the industry and just having that happy to be in it kind of.
Yeah.
And that's happened to a lot of artists.
That's the thing I want to talk about. Most artists are just happy to be signed.
Yeah.
So I told you the story yesterday when we talked.
Mm-hmm.
I told you about the artist that I had. I won't say his name, but his auntie called me and he was a part of a 360 deal.
Yeah.
She called me to get him out of the 360 deal, and I turned around to get him out for him to work with us for a year. We get him everywhere for him to go into the industry and hear people say, well, because you work with them, you work with us when you're done with them. So you throw us to the side for them to use and abuse you, but then you come back when you realize that, hey, I tried to warn you.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't want nothing. So to hear you say that, I try to tell artists all the time, like, if I walk into a studio, if I was to turn into a rapper today and I came to you, hey, bro, I need you to sign this paperwork.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
I need you to sign this 10% because you're doing all the production.
Yeah.
How much percentage you want for this? But I own these rights, right?
Exactly. So that's what so after that whole thing with, like I said, I was younger in my days. I'm upset. I'm mad at the whole world. I even, we were in Tallahassee and Pliers was doing the homecoming show, and I even confronted Pliers about the situation.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And he was like, man, chop it up with my brother. So years went on, and needless to say, I got a chance to get with people that were helping with my publishing, restructuring my publishing deal, and reached out to Gates, reached out to Pliers Company, reached out to Ted over at Slip and Slide, and you know, I'm glad that they're honorable men because they agreed. Like, you know what, T-Bear, you're right. We need to go back and straighten that. So we're in the process of straightening that, getting the publishing and all that straightened, and getting things on the right track. And I think for me, that growing experience is what I took to artists that I work with, whether they're signed to me or they're just artists coming in to record. I'm gonna say, hey, this is what I need you to do. Right. You need to get yourself in order. You know what I'm saying? Because you don't want to try to scramble to get things right once it start happening. Right. It's too late then. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, I'm about it. I talk about it. We just had a whole conversation out there. I'm about bringing people to the table and saying, look, your foundation is what means the most to me. Yeah. If you're not signed right, if your paperwork ain't right, if you're not doing things right, and you're just backing up what I preach every day, and that's what I love about the people in my network, because they've been through it, they have the history. So when they hear me talk, it ain't like new people hearing me talk that say, oh, well, he's just trying to get your money. I'm like, no, bro. Like, y'all keep trying to do this with paperwork. I got businesses that came in and was like, oh, I can just sell this and sell that, and then they look up and somebody else is selling it. Yeah. I got a cosmetic lady out of Atlanta right now who I had to hook her up with an attorney because she created this perfect little makeup brush. Perfect. For what she wanted. Years. Took her to patent it. Now, the minute she put it on the patent line, China said, well, we can do this and duplicate it at a cheaper price. Because you didn't want to do your paperwork. You just wanted to rush to get it out there. Exactly. So do you see the same thing when it comes to artists that hit you up?
The exact same thing. Because a lot of them, I'll tell them, all right, so even they come in with YouTube beats, I say, if you're going to use this beat, contact the producer. Right. I say, you got to find out what the terms of using his beat is. If you got an original track from one of your partners, You and him need to sit down and that's
Sign
your
that
boy.
paperwork.
It's your boy, but it's your boy, and this is business. That's what we fall short.
Yeah.
We got to understand that this is business because you got a
But
bunch
this is my
of,
partner though.
Yeah, hey, partner. You my partner over here, but we need to do this business because at the end of the day, if you don't do this business, how long he gonna be your partner?
Hey, explain it to me. Hey, so let me tell me if I'm true on this statement because I talk about this and I get a lot of artists that come at me. They come at me on Facebook. They come at me when I try to educate artists in front of them. They say, "Oh, he ain't never been in the music business. He don't know." So I come to a lot of artists and I say exactly what you said. If your boy is the producer and he produced the track and you was in his closet recording and he did all this and you didn't sign a split sheet with him, and you didn't do this business with him, here's the problem that you got. Say I walk out of there, say Cap's my producer, he's over there doing his thing, I'm hitting it, the song goes hot, it goes viral, you the A&R, and you come to me like, Jay, I got you. So you take me to the table say, hey, we're gonna write you this check for $250K to get this off the track. The first thing they're gonna ask you was who owns the wave files.
Yeah, who owns the masters of this? Man, I own it, but I got to get on my boy computer. It's on his computer.
So what do you got to do?
You got to go to your boy now. And
you and the A&R got to go.
A&R
by default, the A&R cannot give you this check. He has to go to your boy and say,
I got to tell him exactly what I told him. Look, I will give your boy $250,000, but he don't own it. So you and him need to work something out.
How much? And you think your boy gonna be like, give me $150?
No.
This fool gonna be right. This fool gonna be like, oh, you get $250K, I need 230.
Exactly, because I did everything. I basically did everything. When you should have came to the table with your boy and say, look, let's sit down and like whatever we do, we gonna do it where since you got all the equipment and you doing all the recording and mixing and all that, let's do a 60-40 split where you get 60% and I get 40 because at the end of the day, your lights got to stay on. This ain't running off of homeboy love. These lights cost to stay on, so that extra 10% I'm giving you is the cost of doing business.
So y'all heard it from everybody, from the man's mouth. I'm not talking just from me. I'm talking the business because I sit down with people like him every day and I have these conversations because I can't help you with the business if I don't understand it myself. Exactly,
and that's what artists are missing. You got to understand this business because if you understand it and you're able to do something before things pop off, that means that moving forward, we can do 5 more deals like that. And now you got a little money in your pocket, so now you can go to your homeboy and say, look, me and you chip in on the facility. Your 60% done got you recouped everything. Now let's go even money. I got 5,000, you got 5,000.
Now let's
buy a building. And now everything that we put in here and everything that we produce and make, we 50-50 down the middle.
Y'all hear this, right? Y'all hear this?
That's how you do it.
Hey, real talk with Jayson Dixon. I'm just passing out game. But so in that whole instance of everything that you learned out, to see you overcome it and see you really get into it, what is one of your proudest moments on the business side? And I'm gonna give you a chance to name off everybody you work with. But
on the business side, I'm gonna say it was really structuring my sync deal for television and film because working with artists is a given. I'm gonna get a major placement. And you know that because that's what I do. But people don't understand like film and television and the state of where it is now. That's what we call quiet mailbox money. And if you get one of those deals, a sync deal, you gotta remember. So when the pandemic happened, I had 7 shows that I had did music for. Everybody binge watched. Love and Hip Hop, Real Housewives.
Every time it's streamed,
I get a percentage. I get if it ain't but 7 cents. I get 7 cents for the 200 million people that was streaming it, or 2 cents for every. It adds up, you know what I'm saying? So I tell people that was my biggest business accomplishment. Was putting that together.
And I'm so glad you said that. But I gotta ask you this. So am I wrong? This is justification for me. This is just to pump me up today.
Yeah.
T is just here to pump me up today. So justification when I tell people like I stopped caring about the show money. Beyonce didn't become a billionaire because she cared about the show money.
The show money is slow money. It's gonna always be there.
Yeah.
It's the things that you do outside of the show. So I tell artists, I say, so what happens when you working on a new project and you're not doing any touring because you got to be locked into the studio for the next 6 months. So you're not getting any show money, Where's that other money coming from to sustain you to where you're not spending the show money you made last year? You ain't dipping into it. What you doing to, you know what I'm saying? So you have to sink money, market,
and they think you
merch.
wrong when you come to them and you say, "Hey, I got somebody 2K is doing their logins. They need you to submit your music." And everybody's like, "Man, I'm not about to pay them this amount of money to submit my music." Well, you don't want to be on the track then.
Exactly.
But every time somebody play 2K,
and that's crazy you said that. I was just going to tell the audience, when you get a chance, go look at Drink Champs, the episode they had with Vince Staples.
Yeah.
He's a little young artist from LA, from Long Beach.
I know it is.
Vince Staples had a segment where he said, "Bro, my last album I put out, I made more money on sync licensing for video games and doing stuff for the military and the army and commercials and TV shows than I would have made selling the album."
Exactly.
Millions of dollars doing the sync stuff. So artists, you have to understand the business. I'm not telling you have to know everything about it, but have a grasp of where those other pockets of revenues are.
Do you think their lack of knowledge isn't because nobody's not telling them, but because they want the fame?
This is fame driven. Everything in today's, I say about 85% of most of the artists out now are fame driven. Which is fame driven is no problem in it when you have fame. Okay,
when you
I understand. But yeah, exactly. But I also exactly. But I also know there's some business on the back end. But a lot of these artists forget about the business. And fame comes with a little money up front. You know what I'm saying? But what happens when you burn through that money?
It's just like an NFL contract.
Oh yeah.
When people get drafted to the NFL, they think they automatically get a check. And I'm like, nah, them niggas ain't even made the roster yet.
Yeah.
They already buying cars. They already doing this because those agents are saying, here's some money.
Yeah, exactly.
When them agencies sign them, they're giving them $290,000 up front because they're going to get it back on their check.
Exactly.
But if they don't make the team, then they're in debt from the start.
Exactly.
So it's the same way when I tell people, like, don't sit down to the table and sign a deal. Master P's been preaching about it for years. Quit running after them to sign you and just create the distribution.
Well, a lot of artists don't understand it. When you run to a label to sign you, if you don't have much, the only thing you can negotiate is what you can't negotiate anything. If you came to me like T-Bird, bro, I'm the hottest thing in Vegas right now. I like, well, what you me hear one of your records? Man, I got this one single. Show me your Instagram. You got 5 followers. Where your record at? How many? Show me on your distro.
I will be that artist. I will be that artist because you
show me
on
your distro kid. How many streams you got? You got 100 streams. But I like your voice. I think you got something. This is what I'm gonna offer you. You came to the table with nothing to counter with. Right. Because you're not showing me like, hey, look, T, look at my Instagram. I got a built-in audience of 80,000 fans. Look at my streaming on DistroKid. I do 10,000 streams a month. I see the value now in you as an artist. I say, well, if he's doing that with just his own money he's making working at the MGM Grand, what happens when I give him? What happens when I give him a budget of $250,000? I see the value in it now. But if there's no value at the table, you can't negotiate anything. And I tell people the reason why I don't really like artists tell me like, well, I got a bad contract. I say, bro, you had an option to sign or not sign. Yeah. Or negotiate.
Hey, one of the artists that I do talk about, everybody knows him, especially if you're from Texas, Ricochet, Clean as a Whistle.
Yep.
If you guys don't understand the deal he had, how popular that song still is today, for that artist not to make any money off of that song, but it's because, like what we just talked about, his manager, which is Peanut, which is a big manager. If you don't know him, go Google him. Peanut makes money off all that royalty off that one song that everybody plays because the artist just wanted you paying for my hotel room? Bet. You paying for this? Bet. You paying for that? So when the track blew up, well, here's the deal. You didn't have any money. I let you keep all the money you made from your shows. I booked your rooms. I did this. I did that. Of course I put this under me. Because you already are in debt to me.
I got to figure out some way. How I'm going to recoup what I done spent to you. See, a lot of artists think that whoever gave them the money, they're just supposed to eat that loss. They was like, man, I thought you just gave it to me. Man, I gave you $150,000 because I like you. That's not how business works. So I had to recoup. So, well, we going to split money. Okay, so I put up $150. We made $200,000. I'm just supposed to say, well, my 150 was
garbage. Let me
what that was. That charged to the game. No, before we bust this 200,000 up, I need to recoup that 150.
So here's my 150.
So we split 50 and 25 a piece, bro. That's how that's gonna work. You know what I'm saying? But see, artists look at that as like well, man, how I'm supposed to eat? Well, how did you get to this point to where we can even have this discussion? Right. I took so when artists say the label did this bad deal with me, I say the label took a financial risk because you were not guaranteed to. If a label give you $500,000, you're not guaranteed to make $500,000.
Right.
That label, they taking a risk. If you put up 200,000 for an artist, you like, okay, I'm ready to know that there's a chance that I might not
get my
money.
Yeah,
exactly. But the artists look at it as, they don't look at it that way. Yeah. They look at it as like, well, shit, I ain't make it. You're not gonna go out and get a job and say, hey, Mr. J, hey, Jayson, every week on my check, man, I'm gonna try to give you $100 back on this $250. Oh, you are not gonna do that as an artist. You just look back and like, hey, man, it's the cost of doing business.
I've been in those situations.
Yeah.
I've never put money up because I've never managed, but I've seen managers. Yeah. I got one right now. Mo3's original manager, Andre Turner. Shout out to Andre. His original manager is doing that with artists now. He's putting up the money, but what I try to tell those artists is you don't understand. And what you don't get, he owns the studio. He owns the equipment. He owns everything. So everything you're doing through him, he owns. If you blow up tomorrow, he's going to get his money back.
Yeah, and that's the way
it looks good to you now because you're jumping in sprinters and you're running through Mercedes and you're driving down to concerts everywhere.
Yeah. That's what they don't understand. Because there's two ways to look at that. Except that you know that he has to recoup that at some point. Yeah. So whatever I get on the back end, once he recoup, I'm cool with it because I didn't have the money to get on the road. I had the money to get in the studio, to get no production, shoot like video. Yeah, bank. It's a loan. Now, if you got a little paper, go to him and say, hey, look, bro, this one I don't have it all, but this is what I have. Let's put on paperwork and negotiate to where you're only recouping X amount of dollars from what I'm putting in. So that way, when you lump sum come, you see a little bit more. But once again, artists think that they're privy to this money and they don't have to pay it back. And whoever put it up, hey, man, you knew what you was doing when you put it up.
And you know the biggest platform, I heard you mention Apple, Spotify, but the biggest platform that is showing artists how to be independent is TikTok. Yeah. If you are not putting your music on TikTok, if you are not running your sound, if you are not doing this through this platform as an artist, you're dumb. Yeah, exactly. And I can't even say it because it's showing you how to be one of my closest rap artists, one of my closest friends, Dax, is killing it as an independent artist. Yeah. Yeah. Through TikTok. Yeah. And not only is he killing it, he's basically is creating his own label platform of showing other artists how to be independent. Exactly.
Well, what comes with creating a great independent label platform, a great independent label, is the majors gonna want a piece. Yeah. And when they come to the table, they got to come a little differently now. If you didn't have no leverage, you got leverage now. So guess what you're gonna tell the label? Hey, I'm already making 60, 70,000 a year just on my little TikTok. You know what I'm saying? That you offer me 100,000 that's not equaling out. That math ain't mathing.
You know what I keep telling artists too? Stop going to the same live shows. Stop going to the shows.
Yeah, exactly.
Stop performing at open mics.
Oh yeah, all that. Yeah. You going to because 9 times out of 10, I'm gonna tell you how. 9 times out of 10, that open mic or that artist showcase, if it don't have, when you look at the flyer, if it don't have anything that's going to draw in a regular crowd, you perform to a whole bunch of artists. And if I'm the artist and I brought 20 people in and I'm number 5 on the stage, when I finish, guess what I'm doing? I'm gone. And guess what? 20 people walking out the door.
I've seen it go there.
20 I told you, walking out the
when
door.
I got into this business of what I do, we used to throw Rap Explosion. And we brought in a great crowd because we allowed the crowd to come in, but we made the artists responsible. We're giving away a distribution deal. We're giving away this. If you're not willing to bring in or sell tickets, but artists are like, I'm not going to sell tickets. Do you know who I am? No, you're nobody.
Exactly. You trying to get somewhere.
If you were somebody, guess what I would have did? I would have said, hey, bro, I'm going to pay you. Let me put you on the flyer.
Exactly. So that's what with some of the showcases that one of my partners was running out in back home in Florida. He would book a big artist. He would book not like Trick or Trina, but somebody who recently had the name in Florida. So now you're not just getting artists, you're getting fans of that artist as well. Yep. So now you got more people to stick around. Exactly. They don't stick around and see it. So it's the same kind of concept of what I'm looking to do when I get out here to Vegas, which, hey, man, I'm trying to get out here and goddamn make some billions out here with, you know what I'm saying?
So I hope y'all hear this. He's coming. I got him. He's coming to Vegas.
We did talk that. We did it like the old mob bosses did. We sat down and broke bread with Camp at the restaurant, man, and we chopped it up, and we just gonna combine
forces. First, this is
the
future journey. So
I'm coming out here. So Jayson and Cap and all of the whole crew out here, over here at the television station, the dispensary connections that they all have, man. People don't understand that this music is such a global machine right now.
Exactly.
Everything has a connection when you sit back and you think about it. Especially Jayson being this one of the most analytic cats. This cat, like, look, you can say one thing and he'd come back and he'd say, yeah, you know what? Because of that, this, that, and the other won't work. And you'd be like, God damn, you're right. You know what I'm saying? Let me go over here. So that's what I think going on today, especially with new artists, that if they come into the fold, you're going to get something that is meaningful and useful, is having these other outlets and other things that to build your artistry, to create that revenue, to create if you desire to have your own label and bring your own artists in. That's what coming in
right.
and working with a good group of people, especially in a city like this. You got to remember, Vegas has a built-in audience every day. There's 300 million people coming in there. Yep. You know what I'm saying? So what better place to come here and create a brand and get with people who understand the business. Y'all got to understand, this man is not just music. This dude is tech, software, cellular technology. You know what I'm saying? And that's what me as a music producer, I don't know it all. I don't claim to know it all. But I know that when you come into a situation and you work with people, that's what you want them to do. Like, hey, bro, I got a few things popping off. I know this is something that I need to do, but I don't know how to do it. Here you go. This is your area of expertise. But that's what artists miss. They try to wear all of the hats.
And that's not just artists.
That's a lot of people in business.
That's business.
Yeah.
I get people that be like, why would I pay you to build my website? I said, so if you're building a website and you don't really know how to do it,
exactly,
and you're building it all day and you're messing with it all day, who's selling your products?
Exactly. Your website down. You done messed up. Yeah.
But I want to thank you, man, for coming out here.
I appreciate y'all coming out here, man.
I know it was last minute. I appreciate you giving me a call, and I really am grateful for you being here. Cap, I appreciate you bringing us on and letting us have this conversation. Man. This is more valuable than what you guys think. Future shows, guys, come tune in to nwclv.fm. These shows are going to be more and more of something that we want to do all the time. We want to educate more than we want to entertain.
Exactly.
I know we have fun on this show. We love what we do, because every guest that I brought in and every guest that we do, we love what we do.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Oh, yeah.
But at the end of the day, we're about teaching you guys what you need to know and how you need to get to it. And it's not always about money. Stop talking about money, guys. Stop acting like money run the business. Half of my network are people that they scratch my back, I scratch theirs, and we make money together.
Exactly.
So with that, I want to say this is Real Talk with Jayson Dixon on the network. This is T. Berry. Tell them where they can find you.
All right, man. I'm T. Berry, Mr. BeatSumthin on Instagram, T. Berry 305 on Twitter, T. Berry on Facebook.
Everything
Berry. Just Google me. Just Google me. Google T. Berry music producer. First thing probably pop up is me and Ross. We both got signed at the same time, and at Family Homecoming, you'll see a video of me and him chopping it up. So T. Berry, just Google me. Y'all got the number to the station. Cap got my number. Like I say, I want to really integrate myself out here in the city of Las Vegas and their entertainment, music, and films culture out here. So I'm going to be around. And then all my people who know me from outside of Vegas and back home in Florida and Houston, Texas, and LA, when y'all come into Vegas, just know it's going to be a spot for everybody to come out here, showcases, listening parties, production, music, songwriting. We really want to start really bringing these artists and the people behind the scenes and the business behind the scenes. We got liquor sponsors. There's so much going on, bro. People just don't understand.
I think he was shocked. We had a conversation yesterday, but I think today our conversation was we were just trying to fill each other
out. Yeah.
And because we hadn't talked in such a long time,
yeah.
And I'm just telling y'all, like, I think he even was shocked today when I was like, listen, I'm about to show you what we got going and where we're trying to go. Let's build it together. But I thank you for coming, man.
Man, I appreciate that, man. I appreciate y'all for having me. Once again, everybody, man, feel free to hit me up. I look forward. This is like, I love doing this. Music is my passion. It's something that really gets me up in the morning, because I know I wake up with Either it's gonna be a song in my head, or I'm gonna meet somebody that's in the business, rekindle some stuff with people that's in the business, meet new people like Cap, who has a fabulous platform out here in Vegas. So, hey man, let's get it in, man. Great talking with y'all.
All right.
Yeah, we'd like to thank y'all for tuning in to NWCLV.FM. We are on the second floor of the only 100% black-owned dispensary in Las Vegas. So come check us out. The owner, Frank Hawkins. He's a very personable person, and yeah, we would like to see you. So when you visit Vegas, come holler at Cap. We can get you up there and get an interview too. I'd like to thank a special shout out to the multi-platinum producer T. Berry. Hey, Mr. BeatSumthin. And hey, promote until something happens. And I'd like to thank Jayson Dixon for coming in here and doing this interview for us. Yeah, check us out. And of course, I'm the Quante Cap Young. You heard me, DJ King Cobra. I'm slick, strike, quick, hit you once, and it's over. DJ, the digital journalist, I don't drop nothing. You heard me? Stay tuned in for more updates at NWCLV.FM. For sure.